Our first presenter is Nicole Fortuna. She's a native and a current resident of Philadelphia. After graduating from Westchester University Honors College, where she studied Victorian literature, postmodernism, and film, Nicole believed it was extremely important to pursue a graduate education at Penn to maximize her creative and intellectual abilities. In addition to working full-time as a test development analyst in the medical sciences in University City, Nicole's a local business writer and blogger, which allows her to marry her many interests in cultural trends, material studies, and other people's stories. In her spare time, and which seems to be abundant lately now that she's done the program, Nicole enjoys reading about Tudor history, drinking coffee, walking, going out to dinner with family and friends, and evangelizing about the fun facts of The Sopranos. In October of this year, Nicole and her family will be taking a trip to Ireland, her first visit to Europe. Tonight, Nicole will talk about her project, For As Long As They Both Shall Give, the Incorporation of Charity in the American White Wedding. Nicole.
Hello, everyone. The American White Wedding is a cultural and symbolic phenomenon in the United States that is as rich in its mythical value as it is in its financial impact. This material and romantic ritual is often characterized by the following: considerably sized bridal parties, extensive gift registry, long guest list, the notorious bridezilla, and ultimately its costly price tag. In recent years, however, American charitable organizations have recognized what is truly the salient success of the white wedding and have begun to utilize the same products marketed by the white wedding industry in order to fulfill their own socially conscious missions. My presentation tonight explores how 5 specific American wedding charities market distinct white wedding products, which I refer to as hallmarks, which include the wedding cake, gift registry, wedding dress, flowers, and wine. My research argues that the incorporation and success of charity in the American white wedding reflects the changing social values of the bride and groom and illustrates that the wedding industry, without compromising its own integrity, will continue to create opportunities for the expression of these very values. The modern wedding cake is a confectionery and symbolic emblem in wedding culture. Philadelphia's annual competition, Let Them Eat Cake, reinforces the cake's significance and illustrates that cultural practice and a charitable cause can transform an obligatory gesture into a socially conscious yet personally charged motif. Let Them Eat Cake invites the city's most talented bakers, cake designers, as well as culinary students to bake and design cakes and submit them for evaluation to a panel of judges. Each team's creations are subsequently judged on artistic prowess and culinary quality. In turn, the public, primarily brides and grooms, pay an entrance fee of approximately $40 and are allowed to taste each of the cakes displayed for evaluation. The proceeds of this competition benefit Philadelphia's own City of Hope, which is a research and treatment center for diabetes mellitus, AIDS, and most especially cancer. This competition, which was originally designed to support the fight against breast cancer, introduces the concept of the American white wedding as a vehicle for expressing overall and personalized social consciousness through the incorporation of charity. It is critical to note that the origins of the modern wedding cake we know today was the 17th century Yorkshire, England bride cake, represented communal values of fecundity and fertility, and it rarely deviated from its recipe in both appearance and taste. The 2014 wedding cake has surpassed these standards and superstitions. Instead, the 2014 cake, like the one seen in the figure, reflects personalized values and unique tastes that can even be mirrored through the act of charity. The wedding cake is symbolic of an overall change in the function of the bride and groom, formerly passive recipients and now proactive, expressive creators with social outward mindsets. In the grand scheme of wedding creation, the Let Them Eat Cake competition responds to and benefits from the bride and groom's need to personalize the American white wedding, to transform a generic ritual, and allows the couple to share their literal, symbolic, and charitable taste with others before even cutting the first slice. In 2014, the gift registry is commonplace and synonymous with companies such as Bed Bath & Beyond, Macy's, Crate & Barrel, and Target. Moreover, the wedding industry in recent years has been censured for its overt lavishness. Recognizing this critique, the I Do Foundation enables couples to create alternative charity registries in order to refocus the purpose of the day and to endorse the social consciousness rather than the material interests of the bride and groom. The I Do Foundation was founded on Valentine's Day in 2002 and partnered with the Just Give organization in 2009 to maximize its mission. Its charity registry allows the couple to select charitable organizations instead of tangible gifts that align with the couple's social concerns. Guests are then invited to make donations toward these organizations. Moreover, the donation which the guest makes on the I Do Foundation charity registry is not anonymous. It will be a donation made in the bride and groom's names, however. Despite the attempt to refocus the wedding on charity, as ultimately the funds are distributed to worthy causes, the charity registry still underscores a day that is meant to focus on the bride and groom's personal desires. The bride and groom's own names are the central parts of the donation. Although the I Do Foundation charity registry may not directly support a hegemonic suburban fantasy stemming from post-World War II consumer behaviors, it rather creates the opportunities for alternative personal gain and social enterprise. These are fulfilled through the already effective gift registry paradigm and no less the bride and groom's own value of charity that is executed through the generosity of others. The white wedding dress's very appearance is indicative of the overall acceptance and generalized pervasiveness of the consumer act of the American wedding in becoming the proverbial white wedding. It is because of this identification that Brides Against Breast Cancer, a Florida-based wedding charity, is able to attract brides to fulfill its charitable mission while a bride fulfills her personal yet universalized mission, to find the perfect dress for her wedding. Brides Against Breast Cancer maintains a nationwide tour of gowns, which requires the organization to travel continually to different cities in the United States to sell gently used or brand new donated dresses to brides. Brides are then invited to purchase dresses at discounted prices. According to Mike Fisher, the organization's logistics coordinator, in a telephone interview, he said that 40% of the dresses are donated from previous brides, and 60% of the dresses are donated from boutiques that can no longer sell the dresses because they are deemed out of fashion. 80% of all profits from the dresses sold benefit the families of those affected by and individuals diagnosed with breast cancer. According to journalist Rebecca Mead, the wedding dress is both a mandatory purchase for all brides and an emblematic piece that is imbued with magic powers. In fact, Fisher said that every bride comes to the Tour of Gowns events to, quotation, find that special dress, end quotation. In doing so, Brides Against Breast Cancer enters this equation by providing an off-the-rack experience seen in the figure, which is comparable to that of David's bridal. This is done in order to address the private yet universalized needs of the bride. The potential re-wearing of a dress may raise the question of diminishing the intrinsic magic of the dress. But Fisher said that the Brides Against Breast Cancer dress for a bride has an alternative, socially conscious meaning. What has been identified as a tradition solely about the bride in American culture becomes a day about somebody else, someone who can benefit from the proceeds of purchasing the dress. But by either repossessing her dress from someone else or from an outside source, the bride who chooses Brides Against Breast Cancer has voluntarily repurposed her dress to have a different kind of cultural power, an altruistic, socially conscious one. and at this, Brides Against Breast Cancer no less, has reinforced, appropriated, and benefited from the cultural power endowed in the white wedding dress. An American wedding photographic album would be seemingly incomplete if it lacked the image of the newly wedded bride tossing her strategically arranged bouquet of flowers to a group of unmarried women at her reception. However, amidst the planning and executing of her perfect day, the decision regarding what to do with this bouquet and the rest of the wedding flowers after the wedding is over is often overlooked, according to Lorraine Burns, who is the Director of Mission Fulfillment at Random Acts of Flowers. Random Acts of Flowers is a charitable organization based out of Knoxville, Tennessee, and collects wedding floral bricolage, then rearranges the flowers to create small bouquets to be donated and delivered to hospital and nursing home patients. Random Acts of Flowers underscores the formal and yet sentimental mechanism of the flowers by decontextualizing them from the wedding and deconstructing them for an alternative use. In maintaining the motto of repurpose, reuse, and recycle, not only is Random Acts of Flowers quite literally reappropriating a concrete hallmark of the white wedding to fulfill its own mission, but this organization is transferring emotional sentiment typically associated with romance and expense of the wedding flowers into that of communal altruism. This altruism essentially prolongs the aesthetic and symbolic function of the flowers and perhaps justifies the cost of the flowers in the first place, which originally was meant to serve one purpose. According to Lorraine Burns, prior to Random Acts of Flowers speaking with the bride was unaware of what she would do with her flowers after her big day had ended. The American wedding is built upon decisions like this, in which the wedding hallmarks are specifically used to fulfill just one day's worth of desires. Random Acts of Flowers capitalizes on these very decisions. And in confronting the bride directly, this organization presents to the bride a new opportunity to illustrate her social consciousness through charity in the grand scheme of her wedding. With the overarching presence of rejuvenated wine culture, charitable wine brand ONEHOPE Wine and its establishment of ONEHOPE Weddings not only meets the interests of a renewed appreciation for all wine varietals in the United States, but addresses the social consciousness of its consumers. Based in New Beach, California, ONEHOPE Wine was founded in 2007. ONEHOPE Wine creates and markets wines whose varietals, and therefore labels, coincide with and endorse a particular social cause and charity. Half the profits earned from each bottle sold benefit a select charitable cause. For example, ONEHOPE California Chardonnay, seen in the figure, is associated with breast cancer. The pairing of the varietal with the cause, moreover, is strategic and a cause we have seen before. The organization's market research found that Chardonnay is the wine women most preferred, and therefore pairing it with breast cancer, the leading cancer that affects women, was appropriate and meaningful. ONEHOPE's subdivision, ONEHOPE Weddings, was founded roughly 3 years ago by Megan Robinson. Robinson said in a telephone interview that ONEHOPE Weddings developed organically as brides began directly reaching out to her asking how they could order wine in bulk for their weddings. According to Robinson, ONEHOPE Wine's research determined that 95% of weddings in the United States include wine in receptions. According to Robinson, ONEHOPE Weddings primarily serves millennials, individuals who were born within the years of 1977 to 2000. As of 2009, there were 76 million millennials living in the United States who are particularly noted for their environmental and social consciousness and have been found to possess the highest level of potential in wine drinking. ONEHOPE Wine, particularly ONEHOPE Weddings, therefore markets to an audience that possesses interests in social causes, a resilient taste for wine, and a considerable potential for upcoming wedding celebrations. Millennials represent the current average ages of individuals getting married for the first time in the United States. The very leaders of ONEHOPE Wine are millennials themselves who find success in marketing to their very own generation that shares the same social consciousness and aesthetic taste. In being the only winery to incorporate charity in its sales, ONEHOPE allows consumers to reflect their social consciousness through its brand's very packaging. In fact, Robinson said that often brides and grooms will select a wine specifically for its affiliated cause, even if the varietal itself does not pair well with the dish being served. With this, ONEHOPE Weddings assertively responds to and perpetuates the needs of both highly cultured millennials and a growing wedding industry. Wedding charities ultimately instill the white wedding with an evergreen authority that now possesses a new social agency. In creating a literal and symbolic marriage of the charitable cause and the white wedding hallmark, wedding charities illuminate that the overall American wedding industry will continue to both shape and respond to the desires and values of its customers. It is not coincidental that these charities in some way support the fight against breast cancer, as this affects the same women who will or have planned a white wedding. Moreover, in reappropriating white wedding hallmarks, wedding charities underscore the belief that has kept wedding vendors in business for more than 100 years. An authentic marriage begins with a white wedding for as long as the bride and groom shall give.
Thanks, Nicole. That was really fabulous. Does anyone have any questions for Nicole about her project or what she's presented?
Dr. Shaw?
Were there things that you had to leave out, other charities that you found that you left out?
You know what? There were some charities, specifically Brilliant Earth, and their premise is selling engagement rings and diamonds that aren't blood diamonds, and 5% of the profits go toward the fight against and the awareness of blood diamonds specifically being sold to in the United States. So that was something that, just as an afterthought, I thought was incredibly interesting, and something that I may potentially look into if I do get married. So.
And so that they only give 5% of their profit? So I mean, it's a big spectrum between 80% and 50% and 5%.
Right. And what is interesting is that I tried to be very critical when I was asking questions about where the money goes to, especially because I have a humanist background, and so I was really interested in, okay, the challenging part, where's the money distributed? So an organization like Brides Against Breast Cancer, where 80% of the profits from the dresses go to families and those affected by breast cancer, but before they sell the dresses, they actually have a small-scale bridal show, and those vendors are actually required to make a donation. So that money is being kept for the organization to expand it, compensate their employees. So these are actually pretty successful, wealthy charities, especially ONEHOPE Wine. They've already donated over $1 million to their specific charities, and they're a fairly new charity.
Well, where did this idea originate? I mean, I think this is very informative, clever, very educational to let people know about this type of charity.
Thank you. The concept of American wedding culture for me just stemmed from the beginning. In beginning the MLA program, I had to do field research at a place of business because we were studying how things were marketed. And I thought it would be such a great idea to do field work at David's Bridal. And I happened to be in a few weddings at the time, so it all correlated. And from that, the concept of material studies and how things were marketed just followed me throughout the MLA program. And once I began working with Dr. Shaw and Dr. Schlatter in just narrowing the focus of my paper, I came across, just by doing a pretty in-depth Google search, I came across just one wedding charity, and I thought to myself, there have to be more of these, and the paper
Very clever.
followed. Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.